Everybody. Hello, everybody. Okay. I am doing a little Oracle podcast here. I haven't been exactly every Sunday since I got back. It's the summertime still, and I'm kind of like not in the groove. Maybe Virgo season will get in the groove. I'm reporting to you September 2nd. I want to talk about this week, and I want to talk about the lunar energies. I want to talk about the full moon in Pisces eclipse that we have that's coming up. And I want to talk about what the frick is going on. Because this eclipse season feels like it is going to be so intense. And I'm just like, can we get a frickin' break, man? I mean, I'm sure you guys are all probably feeling similarly. It just feels... what I'm gathering was it feels like it started on the new moon that was on August 23rd, 22nd, 23rd. And that was that black moon. It was a black moon, which means it was very, very, very dark. And it was like the farthest away from the earth. And it was like this, and it was at a 0 point of Virgo. And so there was a lot of really powerful shit that happened on that black moon. I remember processing like a lot of grief during that black moon and releasing, and I literally was able to tap like portals of grief that I hadn't ever fully known. And I felt like a freaking reborn human being afterwards. Like I felt amazing, and I was leading this talk on this class, and it was on the new moon. And, man, it was raining in the desert, and, all of us it was all these women, and it was all this powerful energy kind of coming up to the surface. And we were talking about the shadow, because when you're dealing with that black moon energy, you're really dealing with the shadow. And, I've been talking a lot about that lately, and it's like, the shadow is where our latent power is. It's where our potential is. It's where a lot of our power is. And I've been talking to a lot of, for a lot of women and empathic men, these energetics around really this shadow energy where there's this potentiality. There's been this latent power that's been inside of us, and it's starting to be ready to be tapped. The other thing I've been feeling pretty heavily and gathering is that there's a very intense kind of collective feminine rage that it seems like I think it's thousands of years old, but it feels like it's boiling over. And I've been meeting some very, very powerful women lately that are ready to explore their power, ready to explore their spiritual power. So many people I've been talking to are kind of like, going around in circles, and they, the system at large is squeezing the shit out of humanity right now. And they're just, it's like everything to extract the most that they can with giving the very the very least in return. It's really doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on slave culture, slave mentality. It's really, really oppressive. And we've just come too far as a collective body, as a collective consciousness. So there's this piece of us that's cracking open during it, and it's literally opening, because when you push something, when you pressure something so intensely to the point of, that's what Pluto rules, that's what Kali rules, that the destroyers and the creators. It's this pressure that is so intense that it literally births something new. And that's what we're going through right now. And that's that kind of collective, it's that rage, but it's also, the rage is being able to be accessed. It's not just this melancholia or this depression or this It's and there's action behind it, but it's very deep and ancient and mysterious, and there's definitely a thread emerging around sovereignty and no longer willing to put up with the status quo. And that's why the status quo, whatever the fuck you want to call it, dark forces, are doubling down. It's just so wild because, this is the collective. It's our collective journey as a consciousness on this planet. And, we're in it. It's all this stuff is happening through us, not to us. And so it can really feel like this very intense internal tug of war. It can feel like, sometimes you can just feel this, you feel an oppressive force. And as these awakening energies kind of literally break and crack open, and these new energies get liberated, these forces they want to hold it and keep it and contain it and control it. And they're just not going to be able to. And even though it feels maybe like they're winning in some ways, some days I do feel like that. Some days I feel totally defeated. Feels like dark forces, are winning. I know in my heart and deep in my soul that this is all part of the alchemical process and the alchemical journey of awakening. So this eclipse season, and really this is our individual journey that we're all going through of awakening. And moving, it's the internal ways in which we oppress and suppress our power, which when we suppress our spiritual power, we suppress our sovereignty, we suppress our light, right? Because there are external forces that want to extract the shit out of us and take everything they fucking can and basically suck all the juice out. And then there's, this baseline sovereignty that exists that has, to me, it feels like it's expanded so far beyond what they can control. It really has. The light has expanded so far beyond their conceptions. They just can't quite keep up. They'd have to do a lot of a lot of meditation and like psychedelics and stuff to keep up. You know what I mean? And basically what's happening is we're just starting to wake up to our ability to create our ability to wake up to our own God self. Now, this isn't always easy because it does feel oppressive sometimes, and sometimes you do get down. But, really that's what's going on right now. That's what's going on right now. It's the cosmic play. It's these battles between light and dark, but it's dancing in between those realms. And then ultimately, when there's this much, pressure, it's the paradox that births the simultaneous acceptance of both. I've really been working internally with the energies of duality. And, I'm somebody as a, witch archetype and a seer and a psychic, my life there's been a lot of melancholy in my life. I've worked with the shadow quite a bit, because I've always been somebody that's been on the fringes. And even though my essence is one of a very powerful light and inspiration, and I'm all fire, it's like learning how to dance in between those realms and accepting those realms, without getting lost or swollen or eaten up by them, and holding yourself intact and holding your sovereignty intact, holding your soul intact while we kind of ride these waves. just thoughts, philosophical meanderings for y'all today. But this eclipse season, I just feel something got ignited on that fucking new moon in Virgo, and it's coming to fruition on this eclipse. And what's interesting about this eclipse is that it's the North Node is conjunct. Hold on, I gotta move my ephemeris to it. The North Node is 2 degrees from the moon on this eclipse. And then also Saturn has transited back into Pisces. So there's a very strong, also the sun is conjunct Mercury. There's a very strong Virgo Pisces activation on this eclipse. Virgo is the perfection of the material realm. Pisces is the perfection of the spiritual realm. When we have this ignition of Piscean energy, the North Node is the collective destiny point of everyone here on planet Earth at this time. And it's currently transiting through Pisces. Now, last year, we had a ton of planets in Pisces. And I remember during that time, it was like, this was like 9 months ago, 9, 12, 15 months ago. It was just, the veil was so thin. The veil was so thin. 6 months ago, it was just, we had like a stellium in Pisces. There was like 5 planets. It was nuts. And it was Neptune, Saturn. We had all the planets. It was Venus, it was Mars, Mercury. Everything was in Pisces. And you could just, the downloads were insane with like, just kind of tapping the other realms. And then the conceptions beyond, it felt so like heavenly. Pisces is the energy of like where we go when we die, so there was like a real bliss to it. But it was also kind of foggy and sometimes challenging to understand. And it was like very much in the energetic realm. And there was the opportunity to have direct connection with ancestors, with source, with really working with the energetic realm, with really bringing down information that may want to be expressed. Pisces is so that's what's getting activated on this moon. So we're going back into this kind of like cosmic soup with this Piscean energy. And I swear I can feel it, because when Saturn is in Pisces, I can feel it. Saturn materializes, it constructs. So it's like the human materializations, the earth kind of thing. It brings things down to earth. And so when Saturn's in Pisces, it's much more about the spiritual realm. What energetic downloads are you getting? What is being conveyed to you? When Saturn is in Aries, it's like we're taking action. And so you can feel, so there's these retrogrades going on, and we have what do we have retrograding right now? We have Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, and the North Node. The North Node's always retrograding. And Uranus. Uranus is in retrograde. So there was, I think that must be what's going on, because it felt like there was so many things that got ignited when that Neptune and Saturn went into Aries at 1 degree, 0 degrees. Like, you literally felt like the new world was getting built right then. Like, you could feel it. Like, I felt so inspired to take so much action and on like projects and things that I've been wanting to get done and things that I've been, thinking about. And now that it's all kind of retrograding, we're reviewing, but also it's like when the tide goes in, like that tide goes, it's like a wave is coming and it breaks. And it creates this, the water moves and then it recedes back. We're in that receding process. And it can look like dark forces are coming harder. That's what it can look like or feel like. But I think it's literally just part of the wave. And I think if we can stay stable during it and realize that it's part of the cycle of whatever's happening right now, of this alchemical transformative time. I mean, really, especially, I don't know, right now to me feels more transformative than any other time I've been alive. This time right now. And I'm not entirely sure why, but it just feels like the cracking open. It break down, break through. You know, the Chinese glyph for a crisis is also opportunity. So, just we're in that collective cycle of that receding piece of the wave as the spiral, you know, it goes up and then it goes down, right? So we're in that downward spiral, but we're going to go back up again. Upwards, it's an upward spiral. We're in an upward spiral, but it's in a downward phase right now of receding, of retrograde. So it's easy to get really, I think, kind of caught up in it. I mean, it's funny because I literally don't watch any news. I have no idea you can call me really irresponsible, but I don't know what's going on in the world. I mean, I know because people tell me, but I try to just stay grounded in my house in Joshua Tree, you know, but I can feel the energies, man. Oh man, I can feel it. So I think that's kind of, this eclipse, well, it's a full moon eclipse. So something got ignited on the new moon. Something's coming to fruition on the full moon, becoming illuminated. And, you know, full moons are a great time of release. This is a very spiritual full moon. This is a very spiritual eclipse. Spiritual. What does that mean? What does that mean to be spiritual? What does that mean? It means that, like, it's a really good time to meditate and move into other realms. Maybe take some mushrooms. Get a new point of view. Go out in nature. Commune with your ancestors. Pray. Get quiet. Make some art. Allow yourself to let go, to surrender, to open, to receive. It's a great time of receiving energy. Remember, Albert Einstein was a Pisces. He's the one that said imagination is more important than knowledge. That's a very Piscean thing to say. Pisces have vision. It's a time of great vision. Visioning, what does that mean? Visions sometimes are things that you receive. So it's the activation of the third eye. Vision is when you can see things that others can't see. You can see deep into things. A lot of times it's things that are given to you, like from spirit. It's a good time to activate and work with vision, imagination, and fundamentally understanding that energy and imagination, vision is what creates all materiality. And taking responsibility for your part in this play, you know. I've had a bunch of like bombs dropped on me this last week, and things that were kind of like really crappy. And I'm just, it's like working with the energy of acceptance, working with the energy of alignment, and then always like returning back to the core self. It's interesting because like as certain things, bombs dropped, other things were kind of born, and it really showed me the direction that I'm meant to go in, you know? And, you know, I think really getting clear about what your direction is, where you feel guided. Pisces is really tuning into where you feel guided. That Aries energy is just like, go, go, go. When we had all those, then we had that Neptune conjunct Saturn in Aries and that first degree, 0 degree, 1 degree. It's like, go, act, make, create, materialize. And now that Saturn's moving back into Pisces, it's like we really can tap that deep well. Just remember, still waters run deep. Try to get still. I might take some mushrooms this weekend maybe or something. Might be a good time. Even just a little microdose, just to get clarity, and clarity around the self. It's funny, a lot of people are afraid of psychedelics. Mushrooms are natural. I don't take them that often, but I take them when I feel like I want to get some clarity around something. And you don't have to take that much. You could just take like a little microdose, but it does crack some things open in your brain and help you see things from a new perspective. Let's see here. There's a lot of trines on this full moon, on this eclipse. Lilith is in direct. She's part of this grand trine in water. Lilith, Jupiter, and in Pisces. Lilith has been coming up like crazy lately. Like, I want to do a workshop on her. She's just incredible. She's been coming up everywhere. She's this really powerful, she is the liberated, uncaged, wild feminine that is sexual and free and raw and primal and doesn't give a fuck about what people think and is not afraid to scream and yell her rage. Miss Lilith, she's been coming on the scene lately, I can tell you that much. Lots of clients with strong Lilith coming into my field. Maybe I hold the Lilith keys. I feel like I kind of do. I really vibe with Lilith. I vibe with anything that's working with the energies of wildness. But Lilith is that. It's a lot. It's what men fear. A lot of men fear, especially patriarchal, old patriarchal systems. It's their worst nightmare is Lilith. Yeah, I think that's kind of like what I want to share for this podcast. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There's a lot of trines, like I said, which is like a lot of harmony on this full moon, and empowering really powerful activation. Stellium in Pisces on this full moon. 4 planets in Pisces. Pisces are the, it's the realm of magic. It's Pisces. Magic. What is magic? Magic has a lot to do with vision, imagination, communion with the unknown, communion with source, communion with energy beyond matter, and the trust and belief in that to the point, and the holding of it to the point of it materializing. It's really what magic is. Our belief systems create magic. Our belief systems make magic. Our faith makes magic. What we believe makes magic. So, rationality and science have really kind of fucked with magic. And we're overly rational in our culture. It's exhausting. It's so exhausting. And there's just no room for magic because everything has to be proved. And the realm of magic, which is the realm of the feminine, which is the unknown, the mystery, some things can never be understood, no matter how much everybody needs to know every freaking detail. it's really based on control. We need to have all this control of all these things, and just surrendering that control and allowing energy to move, and allowing forces beyond our control to exist and beginning to work with them. If I said this 100 years ago, I'd probably still be burned. You could probably get burned alive for saying stuff like this. 150 years ago, you definitely could. 200 years ago, you did. So, we're saying it now, aren't we? Anyway, yeah, I think that's what I want to say about this this full moon eclipse. I would say if you want to do a little ritual, like spend some time out in the moonlight. I would say, a simple ritual you could do is just open your palms up to the moon and say to the universe, I'm open to receive. See what comes through. You never know what might come through. And then just try to open yourself to receiving. A good trick, if you need to get out of your mind, is just bringing your consciousness of your head into your heart. So you can feel your consciousness is like really busy in your brain. Your consciousness is not just in your brain. It's all over the place. It's in every part of your body, but we identify it with our head and our brain. But you can actually move your consciousness down to your heart. And when you do that, it's very, very still and very, very empty. So you could try that. Sit under the moonlight and move your consciousness to your heart and say, I'm open to receive. And I'd say sit there for a minute, Sit there for 15 minutes. Sit there for 20 minutes. See what comes through. All right. That's my download for y'all. I love you guys. Have a great day.